Hi everyone. Thank you so much for joining me here today. We are back in the bedroom, which I mention because I am working on building the skill of consistency. And if you've done any research into habits or habit change or read anything about habits, one thing they talk about is habit pairing or stacking. So putting your yoga mat down in the bedroom actually makes a lot of sense since you are getting out of bed in the morning. There's one chance to see your yoga mat, and getting back into bed at night, there's your second chance to see your yoga mat and get that reminder to maybe do a little practice. A similar thing, if you don't believe me, where do we keep our toothbrush? Generally right on the counter in the bathroom. If we didn't see it, if we tucked it away, we're more likely to go to bed without having brushed our teeth. But since we see it throughout the day, it's there when we're doing our morning routine, we're more likely to use it. Same idea with our yoga mat. Leave it out on the floor. I'll give you a little bit of a warning. If you just leave it on the floor, it becomes the floor. It needs to be vacuumed like the floor. Not a big problem, but these things happen. So I've been more consistent with my practice, but less intense, which I think is perfect for the summer. We do a little bit, but don't overdo it. So we get the benefits of health, well-being, muscular work, mobility, all that good stuff, without doing some heroic effort, gigantic workout every once in a while. Instead, we get on our mats once a day, maybe twice a day. Doesn't even really matter what you do. The consistency is more important. So maybe first thing in the morning, you're just doing some twists lying down, and last things at night, you're doing legs up the wall. That is such a key part of health and well-being, to have these little sprinklings of yoga throughout the day, or yoga snacks, as my teacher called them. So you could think of it as a yoga snack, simply just to get on your mat and take the pressure off. Doesn't matter what you do. For today, we will do a little bit of a longer practice, but I did want to share that with you. For the summer, it's cold in the morning, it's cold at night, or as cold as it's going to get. Throw your mat down. Doesn't matter what you do. Just do something. Consistency is more important than intensity. And then if you are consistent, the intensity will come. Okay, our moon salutations for today. Moon salutation being a lateral movement of the body, or side to side. Sun salutation is forward and back, in case you didn't know. And it will be a non-traditional moon salutation, of course, because I'm leading it. We're going to do a little bit of that kind of Tai Chi flowing that I did in one other video. I am no Tai Chi expert. We're going to sprinkle it in just for something different to do, because these are flowing kind of Tai Chi movements. And in the summer, one of our elements of summer, of course, we have fire, it's hot, but we also have water, it's humid. So let's embody a little bit of fire with our strength exercises and a little bit of water with our flowing movements. Let's start with our feet maybe hip width apart, maybe wider. Since we are Tai Chi inspired, yoga tends to have the feet narrow, but Tai Chi tends to have the feet wider, so yogi's choice. We'll give those shoulders a roll, up, down, and back. And let's start with our breath. Inhaling, we're drawing energy up from the earth. And exhaling, releasing down to the earth. Flowing at our own perfect pace. Using this time to settle our minds, transitioning from whatever you've just been doing into our time for our yoga brains. If we'd like, as we lift up, we can lift up onto the toes, lifting our heels, and then release. You may find actually that it makes more sense to go backwards. Doesn't matter. We are moving, we are breathing, we're getting warmed up, it's all good. So it doesn't matter, we can go hands and feet together or hands and feet opposite. Let's make this our last one here. And then we might like to shake it off after Doing our heel raises, circle out the ankles. And let's start with our feet wide and a little bit turned out, sort of like a sumo squat plie kind of position. And we're simply going to lower and lift. Might like to take our hands to our hips to check out the alignment of our pelvis. We should pretty much just be sliding our pelvis straight down. So if you notice that your pelvis is forward or tucked under, let's do our best to take it back, lengthening the abdominals. And then that way it's easier to maintain our ankle over knee alignment. And since we're doing side to side movement, rather than reaching up and down for today, let's reach out and in. Maybe inhaling as we expand out, and exhaling as we draw into core center. All right, the next time we're at the bottom, let's stay there. We're going to keep our legs still, but move our upper body. So let's start by sliding hands down our legs. So this gives us some feedback. So you know for sure your legs are not moving. You would feel it if they were moving, I hope. Maybe we have to look down and double check. Sometimes the legs have a mind of their own. And then as we feel more confident with this, we can reach out side to side. You're not going to hurt yourself if your legs are moving. It's more of a body awareness thing. We get a different sensation in the body. So if your legs are moving, don't worry. You'll be fine. It's just a different technique. I like to think that this is a good one for keeping our brains young because it's not really a natural kind of movement for most people. So that kind of mental challenge is good. Let's go a couple more each way. We'll release back to center. And we'll do a little bit of forward and backward movement. So we're going to keep our legs relatively straight. Depending on your flexibility level, you might want to bend them more. And let's take our hands to our hips again, making sure that as we hinge forward, we've got a crease in the front of our pockets. If you are rounding from the waist, you'll have a nice smooth shape, which is not ideal for load bearing for our backs. Whereas if we push our butts back, we get a crease. We can squish our hand between our thigh and our belly. Perfect, much better for load bearing. So we're gonna lift and lower, moving through this hinging position. Saying hello to the backs of our legs, maybe feeling some stretch there. You might feel a very powerful engagement of your back muscles. And we can simply fly our wings back as we do this if we want to add arms. Squeezing the upper back and the backs of the shoulders. Getting those beautiful rippling tank top muscles, right? We'll go a couple more. We'll come back to center, and then my hope is we're a little bit more limbered up. We're going to continue taking our movement side to side. Side lunge one way, back through center, and then side lunge the other way. So we're alternating, going at your own pace. Ideally, both feet are planted flat. We might want to take a look and double check that the straight leg foot, sometimes it peels up. So we can check, okay, yes. Might feel like our feet are suction cupped on the floor. We could bring our hands to our thighs. Some of us might like to go much lower. And again, let's come to this T position at the top, stretching across the chest. Once more each way. We'll come back through the center. Let's release. We'll walk our feet in. I want to give our inner thighs a break since we've been here for a little while. And we're going to do some Tai Chi inspired, very loosely inspired walking. So we've been doing lots of side to side, and let's walk it front and back to just get some balance. Sometimes the inner thighs need a little bit of a break too. So let's take one leg, doesn't matter which. Inhaling up. So we are balancing, lots of work for our core and hip flexor. And then as we are exhaling, we are walking forward. We're rolling, heel toe, and pressing forward. We can have the back foot flat, or if it's more comfortable, maybe the heel is lifted to accommodate the movement. Inhaling back, and then releasing. So of course, I'm a fitness instructor. We're gonna switch side to side. We're gonna alternate. We're gonna make it balanced. And I always wanna make it, this aggressive athletic movement. Big high knee lift. And then release. We could be doing a really big step. And then releasing. We could be doing a smaller, sometimes we used to call it a stomping lunge. It's a small lunge, but we're still getting down there. And I know all the Tai Chi purists out there are rolling their eyes and groaning. But I warned you, it would not be a very conventional movement practice. So let's go with our own pace, alternating right and left. Any modification of lifting and stepping is good. So maybe you had a recent injury, or it's 112 degrees where you are. We could be doing the most small range of motion, gentle movement. We're still working the same muscles, just less intensity. Maybe you took yesterday off and you've been taking a nap since then and you really want to get into it. Perfect. Make this practice your own. You have your own autonomy. You have license and agency. Go for it. Okay, any speed, fast or slow. We'll go one more time. Bringing it back through center. And to add some balance and ankle mobility, let's bring up just one side. We might like to keep our hands like this to help us focus on our posture, or out to help us balance. Doesn't really matter, but we're going to circle, point and flex, wiggle the toes. Anything in there that feels good, let your body be your guide. We'll lower it down. Goes without saying, we could have been holding onto the wall or something. I'm falling over here today. Okay, our second side, probably a little different. Okay, we'll release. I promised moon salutations, didn't I? So let's do more of our big to-do moon salutations. And we're going to keep those Tai Chi inspired hands. So we'll start with a wide squat, and let's do, I think it's called waving clouds, side to side, or I've heard it called, spreading the energy. And then the next time our hands come to the right, let's use them to turn our bodies into a lunge. And we're going to step our back foot in for pyramid. Option here to lift the back foot and balance, maybe flying our wings back again. We'll release our foot down and we're opening back to our starting position, waving like clouds. Resetting our minds. Oh, now we've got the other side, right? So the next time our hands come to the left, we're going to pivot our bodies into a lunge or a warrior one, stepping into pyramid. flat back here, a little stretch for the front leg. And yes, we could have that front leg knee bent or straight, listening to our bodies. We could stay here or we can fly the back leg up. Catching that moment of flight. If we fall out, we can reset, find a moment of flight again so that we train our brains to always finish on a high note, and then we're ready to open back up again. There's our pattern, waving like clouds. Let's take it to the right. Stepping it into pyramid, and maybe a warrior 3. Meeting back, waving like clouds. Taking it to the left. Let's go once more each way. And at this point, we might be into a deeper stretch, getting much lower, with or without our option to balance. Waving clouds, collecting our thought center. Got one more, don't we? And yes, of course, we could stay down that whole time. If balance is a thing, we never have to come into balance poses, right? We want to stay safe. We don't want to topple over. Well, let's come back. We'll wave like clouds. And maybe at this point, we are ready. We're feeling loose. We're going to come into triangle once on each side. So we've done a lot of side to side. Let's go ahead and turn right toes out. Let's slide down the right thigh, and then we're releasing the left arm to the sky. We won't be here for too long, but this is our big ta-da, our finale at the end. We've done a ton of side to side movement. Hopefully we're warmed up to get the most out of this one. We'll bring it back through center. Let's take it to the other side. Sliding left down left. Only coming as low as feels beneficial. We're coming back to the top. Let's walk those feet in. And we'll finish the same way we started. Inhaling up. Exhaling down. Option to close the eyes. And let's bring hands to heart center. Thank you so much for joining me here today, building the skill of consistency from my light to yours. Namaste.